Welcome back to RGR Football. This is Ryan going rogue on rumors, and you guys have seen all of the hubbub that's going on around the league. A lot of players opting out, a lot of players getting put on the COVID-19 list that does affect their availability, but that doesn't mean that you have to go out and overreact. So we're going to talk today about some of those overreactions that seem to be prevalent, at least with some of the media types. Not necessarily Chiefs Kingdom, but I want to put those things to rest because rumors are just what these are. And the first one is that for some reason, despite the fact that the Chiefs spent a first-round pick on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a back that fits this offense maybe more perfectly than any back Andy Reid has had in Kansas City. Despite that fact, there are still rumors out there that the Chiefs should go sign Devonta Freeman, try to bring him into the backfield. Well, at this point, with the Chiefs having just a touch over $11 million in cap space and still some question marks that they may have to do something about eventually, spending what you would have to think for Devonta Freeman would be a high dollar contract number is just out of the realm of possibility. Brett Veach does not want to go and take this gift that he's been given. You'd never like to lose players to an opt-out, let alone anything else, like you've seen with LDT and Damian Williams, but you've gotten some cap space back because of it. And he's not going to be one to let that just fly and waste it. He is going to use it in a way that helps this team. And quite frankly, going out and getting another running back to take snaps away from Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not the answer. You are going to see Clyde do what he does, and the team is very, very high on him. We heard the stories about how Brett Veach went to Andy Reid, pumping up the idea of drafting him early. The fact that they got him at 32 is exactly what they were looking for. Had they been able to trade back and still think that they could have got him, they might have. But this was a guy that they were clearly all in from the beginning of the draft process. And now what that does is Damian Williams takes the controversy out of the equation. It takes having to share reps with Clyde out of the equation. What that means for Damian, you guys have seen in some of my other videos, we aren't quite sure of. There is a possibility that Damian may have priced himself out of Kansas City in the future, but that is a responsibility he felt to his family, and I think he's justified. We shouldn't hold that against him, and if that's the way that it works out, he will land on another team and have a significant role. But that was always going to be a bit of friction about having a first-round draft pick invested in a running back that wasn't going to be the starter to begin the season at the very least, maybe not till later in the season. That whole thing has been sidestepped because of Damian's decision and now allows the Chiefs to put all their focus into developing Clyde Edwards-Helaire and getting him 100% ready to play not just meaningful snaps, but to later in the season take over the workhorse capabilities. Now, could we see Darrell Williams start games? Yes, that is perfectly within the realm of possibility. I actually think that's better for Clyde if that's the way that it goes down because it lets him ease in. It lets him get used to the speed of the game. And I don't care who you are, coming from college, the speed of the NFL is drastically different than what you did in college. That does take some adjustment time. And so having a veteran like Darrell that could step into the starting role at least early on and give some quality starts that allow Clyde to then supplement him really goes a long way. There's a lot of pressure on Clyde Edwards-Helaire about how he's going to develop, how he's going to learn, and how he's going to protect Patrick Mahomes, and he even had some things to say about it.
So, I mean, really, most importantly, the first thing that we just wanted to get down was just simply, work on little things of timing, and that was the biggest thing, and just get comfortable with, even having play action passes and everything else as far as just time, just getting comfortable with standing next to Pat and everything else is pretty much just what we were pretty much just working on. Other than that, coming in and pretty much just trying to dot my I's and cross my T's and do the right thing as far as just stay on the right path, and whatever I'm asked to do, I'm gonna do it. I feel absolutely comfortable being able to. We did installs before everybody had the online installs, and I was able to run routes and do things from our playbook beforehand. So coming in, ultimately, my thing is just to learn. I have a lot of guys that's vets in the room and guys who've been here that I can absolutely learn from and pick their brain. So I have that at my disposal, and I'm just here to be a team player. Well, for me, it hits home. My mom, she actually had COVID, and then my little sister, she has muscular dystrophy. So me wearing a mask and keeping everything just in tune and keeping everybody safe around. I mean, she was born with a lot of difficult, a real difficult situation, and ultimately, if she gets it, it'll pretty much be fatal. So for me, it's personal. Wear a mask is something that you do when you just go outside and interact with people. And staying 6 feet apart is the main key. So wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, and ultimately, man, we should be able to knock this curve down. And I mean, everybody wants to be in the stands on a Sunday, Monday, or Thursday. So let's just make it happen. Just wear a mask. As simple as that. That's I've never looked down on pass protection. That's literally half of my job, and that's been instilled in me since I was younger. And ultimately, that's something that I knew that I would have to do in the NFL, and it's something I'm going to do in the NFL, and it's something that I practice and train for every day in and day out in college. So it's my job. I'm going to execute. I'm going to do what I need to do as far as protect Pat, and that's it. I'm gonna protect him like he's a brother, which he is.
Now, hearing that kind of early dedication from a rookie who knows that his role is not only balanced, but very important to protecting the elite of the league in your quarterback, a guy that makes this whole thing go, that is confidence inspiring. And so that is another reason why going out to get another veteran like Devonta Freeman to come in and not only take snaps away from him, but to crush his confidence a little bit, that is not something that Andy Reid wants to do. He is not looking to add any more to that lineup. I think he's confident in having Clyde and Darrell share responsibilities up front, and I do believe that balance will shift. We'll talk more about that as the season begins, but also to have DeAndre Washington, who they put up in front of the press this week, as well as Darwin Thompson, who a lot of folks were super high on last year. And I told you then, give it a year. Let him grow into it. I think he's in a position where he can put some meaningful snaps on the field as well. There is going to be a long season. Someone is likely to have to take a week or two off. Even that is going to be enough to allow them to share. And I think the Chiefs feel very good about their 4-man rotation in at the running back spot. Now, that's not the only rumor floating around. Because of what we saw in having a little bit of extra cap space, now things are starting to go wild. And the popular name, for some reason lately in the last 48 hours, has been Jadeveon Clowney, who I think is destined to end up in a spot that actually knows him better, whether that's returning to Seattle or going somewhere like Tennessee, who's played against him. I think that's really the key to getting a Jadeveon Clowney signing done. The Chiefs don't have that kind of space. He's looking for way more than they have in terms of cap space. And quite frankly, I don't think he's worth it. The Chiefs need somebody who can be not only good against the run, which Clowney is, but can be a force, can be a pressure deliverer opposite Frank Clark. That is not what Jadeveon Clowney's been able to do the last couple of seasons. He is not the premier pass rusher that he's seeking to get paid as. And so I do not see that as a scenario that could come down in Kansas City, because the Chiefs have adopted this mush rush mentality where they have 4 interior tackles. You can call them that for certain. In Jones, Noddy, Pennell, and Saunders. Jones has been slowly losing weight over the last couple of seasons. He's a little bit quicker. He played more snaps at defensive end last year than he had any time in his career, and I expect more of that. That goes to show that in addition to the starters that you have in Alex Okafor, who I do believe is going to win this job because of his all-around ability, but you have pass rush specialists behind him in Tano Passanio, who actually held his own against the run very well last season as well, but Taco Charlton, who was there to rush the passer. Then you have question marks in Breland Speaks returning, and Mike Dana, who the coaching staff was really high on when they brought him in. There are a lot of players in all of those guys that I just named have been able to go not only from defensive end, but down into the 3 technique and play inside. So this is a defensive front that they are looking to keep multiple and keep moving guys around. They don't need a dedicated outside wide 9 type pass rusher. And that is exactly why they will not go after Jadeveon Clowney, because it just doesn't fit where they want to go. I don't actually see that happening, but we're going to play along and see if anything does come of a little bit of extra cap space. If not, they'll roll that over and use that to get under the cap in 2021. And that's going to be very important. I'll have more on that and looking forward to what's going to go on in the next season coming up soon. If you are not subscribed, make sure you hit that button, like it as well, and hit the bell notification right now so you know what's going on with your Kansas City Chiefs. I appreciate you checking this one out. We'll have more for you next week with Dan and Matt and everybody coming back. Look for something special over the weekend. I appreciate you checking this one out, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.